95% of your decisions are being made by a part of your brain you have zero conscious access to. And if nobody has shown you what is running that 95%, you will spend your entire life making choices that feel like yours, but aren't. So today I'm going to show you exactly where that program came from, what it's doing to your life right now, and most importantly, what actually changes it. Most people go through their whole lives vaguely aware that something is holding them back. They work harder, they read the books, they do the journaling, and they still end up in the same place. And it's all because they're trying to fix the output without ever looking at the program that's running behind the show, underneath all of it. And everything I'm sharing is backed by neuroscience. And it is literally the foundations of every real transformation I've seen in my own life and also with the women that I work with. So to have that internal dialogue about whether you should do the thing or not, it counts for roughly 5% of your total brain activity. The other 95% is your subconscious, and it is running every single automatic response that you have, every single emotional reaction that happens before you've even thought about it, every deeply held belief about what you are capable of, what you deserve, what is possible for somebody like you, every pattern that you keep repeating even when you consciously don't want to. Think about when you learned to drive in the very beginning. Every single thing required that conscious effort. The mirrors, the gears, the clutch, the speed, other cars, and your full attention on every element at all once. It was exhausting, it's overwhelming. And now think about how you drive now. Think about driving a route that you know really well. You arrive and you genuinely can't even remember making half of the decisions. It's because your subconscious had that programmed that your conscious mind didn't need to be involved at all. You just drove. And the same process happens with everything, including your relationships, including how much you let yourself want, including how you respond when something good starts to happen, the way that you react when somebody pulls away, the type of person that you're drawn to. The moment that you start to get somewhere and something in you quietly pulls the handbrake, none of that is a conscious choice. It is a route that your subconscious has driven so many times that it does it without you thinking. And this is the bit that matters the most, is that you cannot ever override a subconscious program using your conscious mind. That 5% simply does not have the power, which is why you can know completely and intellectually and have the intention that you should go for it and still not go for it. This is exactly why insight and awareness alone doesn't create change. This is why you can understand your patterns perfectly and still keep repeating them in any kind of way. So this is why affirmations and awareness at the conscious level is not the solution. The solution is going to the level where the program actually lives and changing it there. Now, your brain has one primary job. It's not to make you happy. It's not to make you succeed or help you succeed. It's to help keep you alive. And the way it does that is by treating anything unfamiliar as a potential threat. This is called the negativity bias. Your brain is literally wired to weight potential losses more heavily than the potential gains. Multiple studies have shown it takes somewhere between 3 to 5 positive experiences to counterbalance the impact of one negative one. Your brain is not neutral. It is actively, structurally biased towards caution, towards retreating, towards staying exactly where it is. And it cannot tell the difference between a genuine physical threat and an uncomfortable opportunity. That's why we react with horror movies, even though consciously we know it's not a threat in front of us. You treat it like danger and you pull back, and your brain rewards you for it. So you get the relief that you feel when you retreat from something scary. That is your nervous system settling. You feel safe, and your brain files that away as, this worked, do this again next time. And this is how the ceiling that you have in your life gets built, not in one big moment of giving up, but in thousands and thousands of tiny little of retreats that felt at the time completely reasonable, but that is what creates your internal ceiling of where you can progress to, you know? So we already know that your brain is biased towards caution. And then on top of all of that, from the moment you were born, it started receiving instructions. And I want you to think back to being a kid, right? You're running down a hill, full speed, your arms are out. That feeling of feeling so completely alive and not caring about what came next. And then you hear, be careful, Maybe it was don't get too excited, or you might be disappointed, or just be realistic. Whatever it was telling you to tone down. Maybe it was the parent who got anxious every single time that you tried something new, or the teacher who discouraged you from having that big idea, or it's just overall the environment of playing small was just what everyone did. So it became normal. Every single one of those things that was said by people who loved you and had good intentions, and they said it to protect you, it landed in your brain, in your subconscious, as going all out is dangerous, wanting too much is dangerous, being too visible is dangerous. And that feeling of flying is actually the feeling of something bad about to happen. And the thing is, you were a child back then, you had no framework to kind of question it. So you looked at it as truth, and then you've now built your whole life around it and started changing yourself before anyone else could. So you're pulling back just before things happen. You make yourself smaller, right? You stop wishing your wildest dreams. And the edge of your comfort zone, the edge of your potential are the exact same place. So the moment something starts to feel like it's too much or too big or too fast, that is not a warning. That is the exact place where your growth lives. And you were taught before you were old enough to know that it was happening and to stop right there. And the cruel irony is that the feeling of being fully alive, like arms out and running at full speed, that has got coded, I suppose, in your nervous system that is something to be afraid of. So every single time you get close to it, you slow down. And it's not because you can't handle it, but it's because a version of you that learned when you were very small that you shouldn't. And the thing is, it doesn't always look like an obvious fear. Mostly it's actually quieter than that. Like, it's the job that is fine. It's not bad enough to leave or not good enough to love. And every single time you seriously think about what you want, like what you actually want, something in you says to be realistic. So you stay and you call it security. And then before you know it, like another year has passed. It's the relationship you've outgrown. You've known it somewhere, but leaving means stepping into the unknown. And the unknown is where the fear is. It tells you where bad things will happen. So you find reasons to stay. You wait for it to get bad enough. You call it complicated when really it's just a familiar pattern. And it's always the dream that lives in the someday category. Someday when there's more time or more money or more confidence, when the circumstances are better, whenever it feels safe enough, whatever it might be, that someday category is exactly where this belief, this program puts everything it doesn't want you to have yet, and yet it never comes because the belief, the subconscious, the program doesn't want you to go there. It wants you to stay where you are, where it's certain. And it will self-sabotage right when things start going well. So when something genuinely good starts happening, whether that be a relationship feels healthy or a career move that's actually working, something in you gets uncomfortable. And then you pull the handbrake. You pick a fight that doesn't need to happen. You go quiet when you should lean in, and you make yourself small again just to get back to your level of safety. And it's almost like you're constantly apologizing for your own ambition, the qualifying before anyone else can question you, it's probably nothing but like the downplaying of the wins before somebody else can. It can look like shrinking in rooms so other people stay comfortable with how much you want. None of this is a weakness, but it is all of your subconscious. It's your nervous system doing exactly what it's taught you to do. And the thing is, you are not stuck because of your circumstances, not because of him, not because of your job, not because of where you grew up or what you don't have yet or whose fault any of this is. You are stuck because your subconscious is running a program that was written for you as a child, but you're not a child anymore. And the solution is never more motivation or another book or another journal or another prompt or another conversation about why you are the way that you are. And yeah, insight is valuable, but insight without the right kind of intervention just gives you more sophisticated understanding of the ceiling that you're still bumping your head on. The fear doesn't go away before you actually do the thing. And that is one of the most important things that I can tell you, is that it goes away because you did the thing. Every woman that I have watched make a real change in her life, leave the situation she settled for. She built the thing that she's been putting off. She stepped into a version of herself she only ever let herself imagine. She did not do it because of the fear disappeared. She did it because she stopped waiting for the fear to give her permission. She stopped waiting until it feels safe. And the thing is, your subconscious will always find a reason. So how do you change all of this? The first thing is to catch the flinch. So that little micro retreat when something feels good or too big or too good or too much. Most people will never have even noticed it, but they're already 3 steps into pulling back before they have even registered it has happened. So number one, just start noticing when it happens. Not to immediately push through it, but just to see it, because the moment that you can see the pattern, you then have a choice. The second thing is to learn to separate discomfort from danger. They do feel identical in your body. That is the whole problem here, okay? You still get that racing heart, you still get that tight chest, the urge to pull back. So question to sit with is this going to actually hurt me? Or does it just feel like it might because it's new? And more often than not, the honest answer is the second one. And knowing that doesn't make the feeling go away, but it changes what you then do with it. The third thing is building evidence. Your nervous system does not change through pep talks. It changes through experience. So through proof that the other side of the discomfort is okay. Every single time that you take one step further than you went yesterday and come back in one piece, you are filing new data into the 95%. You were giving your subconscious actual evidence that the edge of flying is not the feeling of falling. So like over time, the evidence accumulates and then your ceiling starts to move. And this is why I always say that the goal isn't about becoming fearless. The goal is to become somebody who moves towards the edge anyway. We've heard that book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It's because she's built enough evidence that she can. The fourth thing, I've lost count now, is doing the deeper work, because what I have described so far is how you manage the pattern. And obviously management is useful, but it's very, very different from real change. Real change happens at the level of the subconscious, when the nervous system isn't being overridden by conscious effort. And actually, it can then be updated. So when the program itself gets rewritten with new information, I've just seen this shift happen in women who have spent years in therapy, understanding themselves. And I've seen it happen in women who thought this was just who they were. It is not just who you are. It's a program that was installed without your consent by people who obviously meant well, in a nervous system that doesn't have the capacity to question it yet, right? But that whole blueprint can be changed. So this is just your reminder that the people who told you to be careful loved you and they meant that, but they were wrong about this. And you were never too much. You were never moving too fast. You were never meant to slow down on that hill. You were flying. And someone who was afraid for you or afraid of their own flying taught you to be afraid of it too. But now you know exactly where it's come from. And next time you feel that little whisper in your ear to pull back, hopefully you have me in your brain telling you that everything that you want is on the other side of that fear. I'll see you at the next one. Goodbye.